Joining me for today's show is a man that's been on the show before, but it's been a little while now. He's now gone through college, had a great 3-year run. Now he's in the NBA with the Charlotte Hornets, and that is none other than KJ Simpson. KJ, I appreciate you taking time to come on today, man.
Oh no, appreciate you for having me, man. Like you said, it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute. It's been overdue, but
For
appreciate
sure.
it, man.
Well, I have to start with this, man. You're in the middle of offseason. Your first offseason was hectic. You get drafted, going through the NBA draft process first of all. You get drafted, then you're injured throughout the process, and obviously you have to get ready for the season. Now it's the first time you have a full offseason in the NBA. How's it been so far?
It's been great, honestly. I mean, like you said it yourself, coming in, it was a little obstacles, you know what I'm saying, right away.
Right.
So this year to finally have a real off season and to
Mm-hmm.
work out and just honestly, that's really been it. I just been working out, and
Right.
I love it. I love it. The journey of it. Obviously, would rather much be playing in the playoffs when
Yeah.
during that time that was really weird. I got to say, like when basketball was still going on, but not playing, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
So that was kind of weird, but I mean, this off season's been great, man. Just like I said, just been working and just been grateful for every day I have.
Curious, when you look at your first season in the NBA, obviously there's always things to improve on, get better in. What were some of your goals? What are the things that you really wanted to emphasize and have been emphasizing over this past few months now?
Yeah, I mean, I just honestly speaking, I really just wanted to come in and just prove that I belong. Like,
Right.
the player I am, I'm someone that's kind of like an all around person. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of things I feel that I do really well, and certain things that I feel stick out more than others. But at the end of the day, I just want to come in and just prove myself. I'm already getting doubted just simply based off my size. Like that's
Right.
a fact for anybody who's under 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
So just coming in, I knew I had that, and then just there's always going to be opinions and things like that. But I just really want to come in and just prove myself, so I belong. And thankfully, I was able to get opportunity right away,
Right.
and there was a lot of great that came out of that, and there was some learning curves. But at the end of the day, it's just rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just grateful for everything that I learned. But I definitely do think I showed flashes of a player I can be, and I
Right.
know this season's been really big for me, and it's been really, honestly, I've been on a great path, and I'm just excited to go out there and prove, and show people why I do belong.
We were just talking backstage about the summer league. We know we're now just a couple days out, about 1 week exactly now out from summer league getting going now. When you talk about that aspect, how excited are you to be able to get out there and for the first time in your career now be a part of summer league and play the whole time?
I'm excited. I'm excited. I mean, last year it was crazy. It was like
Right.
it felt like a whole 2K cutscene. Honestly, it was just you see NBA players in every single hotel. Like
Mm-hmm.
the fan base was just crazy. That was my first time ever being in Vegas during summer league. So
Okay.
I wanted to play and be a part of it so bad. I couldn't, which sucked. But that's why I'm looking forward to this year and this summer, and I can't wait to get it going. Just put on a show in front of the fans and win some games, gel with the new guys, and just go out there and hoop, man.
The unique thing for a situation like you guys, there's going to be a lot of guys that's on the roster playing out there in summer league. Talk about the guys coming. You have 4 new rookies coming in. Then you also have yourself coming back, and you're gonna be able to play with them, Damien as well. When you talk about just being able to be alongside some of these guys that you're actually gonna be playing with next season, how more exciting does that make it? Knowing there's gonna be some of that chemistry already in place.
Really good, really, really good. Honestly, obviously for them, I'm pretty sure everything's moving fast.
Right.
Getting drafted and going in. I understand literally being in their position a year ago.
Right.
So I know it's just gonna immediately like we're gonna have that connection of, oh, I just went through what you're going through right now, and to be able to build chemistry early on before the season is really big, and I'm looking forward to it.
If you were to give advice to Ryan, Sion, Khan, and Liam, obviously guys coming in as rookies now, what is their advice? How do you take in this moment? Because obviously this is a massive experience. You get experience something that you've always dreamed of, but still be focused on the craft, deal with all the whirlwind and stuff going on. What's your biggest advice to them?
Honestly, just appreciate every opportunity, every experience.
Right,
When I get a chance to, I haven't met them yet because, like I said, it's been hectic. So when
right,
I do get to meet them, I'm pretty sure, from the things I've heard, they're great people and just pure hoopers who want to go out there and work,
right.
which you love, and that's going to serve well in the NBA. But just go out there and just embrace every opportunity. Honestly, I know I'm not no vet yet, but
Right, right.
the year of experience that I did have, there was a lot of great in it, and then a lot of a lot of up and downs and obstacles that I faced, but it helps you. And I think you just have to be grateful for everything that you endure and go through within your experiences. So that would be the main thing for me because I'm still learning. You know what I'm saying? I'm still young, but
Right.
it definitely, coming into year two, it definitely just feels completely different than coming in rookie year and not knowing what to expect.
How about for yourself now? As we talk about, you didn't get the overall rookie season for the summer league, at least for yourself. You come back this time around, and we'll talk about your first season in the NBA as well. But obviously, you got a lot more minutes down the stretch of the season with the big guys, and now you have this opportunity to go out there. What do you want to improve? What do you want to accomplish, get done over the duration of the 17-day NBA summer league?
Yeah, I just honestly, I just want to go out there and continue to prove myself. I feel like I left a lot out there rookie year, just trying to learn and
Right.
pick up on how the game's played and like I said, take advantage of my opportunities. So this year, I feel like I'm more seasoned, I want to say,
Sure.
from
Yeah.
the year I had, and I know what to expect. So just want to go out there and just take my game up another level on all aspects. Shooting, definitely, I feel like I could have shot way better last
Okay.
season. Just coming in defensively, being a pest, going out there and just proving to people like my height doesn't matter, and I
Mm.
can go out there and play with the best of them and just going and showing and proving like why I feel as if I deserve to be in the NBA and why I got drafted. Showing that I got drafted for a reason, and it's just looking forward to year two. Like every year, I feel like in my life through basketball, I've experienced where I look back at the year I just had and realize, okay, like and take those experiences
Mm-hmm.
better. And the off season is a big moment for that, and so
Right.
just honestly this has been no different, just at another level. And so now I'm really excited.
You brought up the height component a couple different times, and that goes dated all the way back to high school. And I was always on top of the recruiting aspect. People always say, "Well, you're a smaller guard overall." But then you go to college, and we're going to talk about that momentarily. You have one heck of a career in college to the point where you even get to make the NBA jump. You get drafted. Now you're playing minutes in the NBA level. How have you continued to prove people wrong and still outperform the height that you've had throughout your entire career?
I mean, I just look at it the simple fact like if my height was such a big issue, then how come I was able to make it to the NBA?
Right.
If it was such a negative to have, then how come I can go out there and do certain things that I can?
Hmm.
And the only thing I'm trying to do is to go out there and show I can do it more consistently. Like
Yeah.
that's the step I need to take. I take and understand that. But I mean, for me, all I need is just an opportunity to go show you. Anybody can have the opinion that they want. Like you said, um, going in from high school, like going and heading into college, that was a big knock on me.
Yep.
And then you look and then seeing the season that I had my last year at Colorado, nobody would have guessed other than the people around me. Obviously, myself, I knew I was capable of that. My family, everybody around me, but like going into the NBA, it's no different. It's just a bigger stage to go out there and just prove to people that it doesn't really matter.
Well, let's hop back to where we left off. For those of you that are tuning in, me and KJ had an interview right when he committed to Arizona. Actually, pre-recorded, and we released it right when he announced the commitment. But that's not where we ended up going to school. Obviously, Arizona ended up falling through later on, and so I want to ask about that process because we're heading back now about 5 years ago. Sean Miller was the head coach. You committed to Arizona, and then things go down, and he ends up getting removed, fired, whatever you want to call it. Tommy Lloyd takes over, puts you in quite a predicament then as you're getting ready to go to college. So
Mhm.
walk us through that original process. First of all, dealing with the coach that you committed to getting let go. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough, honestly. I built a
Right.
good relationship with them for the most part, because considering everything, it was still during COVID, so I
Yeah.
didn't no visit at all. So it was difficult. I love the schools that I spoke to, and but Arizona for me just stuck out, and I had good relationships there with the coaching staff that I built, and obviously Sean Miller. But
Hmm.
yeah, it was just tricky. Honestly, the way I found out was I woke up and there was a Bleacher Report. Sean Miller, stepped down from Arizona, and the
Yeah.
ties or whatever was cut. So then I remember running down to go to telling my mom, and then running down and telling my dad before he went to work or something like, "What does this mean? Like, I
Hmm.
don't know what this means." And he kept a calm composure and just told me, "Don't worry, we gonna figure it out." But it was a tricky situation, honestly.
Yeah.
And, it was kind of hard to navigate at first, and I didn't, we didn't hear from Arizona until like a week and or two later.
Really?
Yeah, because then when Tommy Lloyd got the job, like we still didn't hear, and then they reached out, and then we had a conversation over the phone because I don't like I said this previously, but I don't think a lot of Arizona fans really know this. I didn't shut Arizona down. Like I didn't. It wasn't a someone else is coming in to coach. Like let me just step down. That wasn't the case. Like I was still
Really? So
I
you
was
could have possibly still stayed at Arizona then. Like you were open to staying, I should say.
exactly I was,
Wow.
and we had a conversation with Tommy Lloyd, and he I believe he's a great coach and a
Yeah.
great person. We've built a kind of cool relationship as years went by, but
Sure.
just to be honest, at the time, he just simply said he didn't think I could have a role on the team
Hmm.
because I guess he wouldn't get a chance to watch film on me, and it would take a couple weeks to watch film on me and to see whether I would fit or not. And it just like the vibes wasn't, giving.
Yeah.
He wanted me to go there, so I'm not somebody who's gonna hold a grudge or anything.
Sure.
It was so like clear that it would just be best if we just decommitted from there. And it was a little sticky situation trying to decommit, but finally got decommitted. And fun fact, I called every single coach that offered me before I committed,
Okay.
just to thank them for offering me and saying I appreciate it. And you had your coaches that was obviously upset. You had
Hmm.
coaches that said, look, looking forward to your success and your journey. And but the one coach that like he was like, no matter what happens, if things don't work out, like we'll still feel the same way. It was Coach Boyle at Colorado,
Mm.
and they were in my top three. It was
Okay.
Arizona, Colorado, and SC. So everything happened. Sure enough, Coach Boyle was the first one to call my high school coach, and yeah, the rest is history.
I don't think too many people know about the whole when you decommit. Obviously, you have to have your national letter of intent, and obviously, I guess get resigned by the school and all these things. They can get tricky. I feel like it's gotten better the past couple of years because of the transfer portal has made it a lot simpler now.
Mhm.
But back then, this was still new. All the stuff was still tricky, and I
Yeah.
know that was a little bit of a difficult point as you kind of alluded to there for a little bit. So when you made up your mind and said, you know what, I want to go somewhere else. This isn't the right fit.
Mhm.
How difficult was that situation for yourself?
It was difficult for me, honestly, because the whole thing with me is I'm such like a bought in person. So once I
Hmm.
buy into you, I'm set on that team or whatever I'm going into, and I'm not somebody who second guesses things. So
Right.
after it happened, the reason I kind of committed at that time was it was around my birthday, but obviously I wanted
Mm.
to kind of commit before my senior season so I could
Yeah.
just enjoy my senior year of high school and not worry about where I have to go to school. Obviously, it's a blessing to get offers and scholarships, but it can be a little stressful on you when you want to make the right decision, you know.
Yeah.
So I wanted to choose that before my senior season was started and on the way. So that kind of messed it up a little, and so into some of the seasons or into some of the games that we had in that season, it was just like I still was trying to navigate. Okay, the schools that are reaching back out to me now that I decommitted, and
Hmm.
now having to figure out. Okay, now pretty much doing this again. Like where do I want to go? And obviously with Coach Boyle and his actions and what he said, it made it a little bit easier. I
Right.
kind of knew I was going to go that route, but it still was a little difficult for me to navigate. As a high schooler
Yeah.
have you set in stone like okay I'm going here and then it just flips and changes and so yeah.
Now, did you know right away when Coach Boyle reached out to you? Were you pretty much already set saying, you know what, I know Colorado's a place, or did you still take a little bit of time and say, you know what else is on the table? There could be other schools in the mix, or was it Colorado all the way?
I still have conversations. You can't turn down certain
Right.
conversations. Like I think I knew I wanted to play in the Pac-12 for sure, just
Okay.
growing up watching the Pac-12 all my life, and I kind of knew I wanted to play there. So majority of schools that reached out was mainly Pac-12 schools,
Hmm.
and so but I wanted to hear everybody out. I mean, we had schools like Oregon, UCLA, um, Washington State, like a bunch of schools reached out. So I didn't want to just shut everything down at first, but because of what Coach Boyle said and how everything turned out, and how when I did have conversations with other coaches before I committed, and just reading their kind of body language and things, like it kind of did put Colorado, first,
Okay.
and it made it more comfortable to know like okay I know where they stand, their actions
Hmm.
speak louder than their words. So um, I didn't shut it down completely, but like it did make them very high on my list.
You staying in the Pac-12 at that point in time, at least it was Pac-12. You
Right.
had obviously Colorado, Arizona matchups. You got a lot of the different games with each other. I know you're not really the person that holds a grudge, but was there ever some extra little motivation when you got to go face Arizona?
Yeah, especially my freshman year because it was still fresh.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget my freshman year when we were about to play Arizona the first time. It was at Tucson, so
Mm.
I was getting ready to hear I was having conversations like they probably might boo me, but I was excited. I was excited, man.
Right.
I couldn't wait. I just wanted to go out there and prove myself. But leading up to that, I actually was out with a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
I was like trying to get right. I was like, I gotta play this game. Like I got. And I went in there, and at the time, I went in there, and that was my career high for
Right.
that season. So we lost, unfortunately. Obviously, I wanted to get that win, but to go in there and play with that mindset and the mentality, and just go out there not saying I held grudges because I don't really hold grudges, but
Yeah.
just going and proving again,
Yeah.
in all fairness and to be truthful, you didn't think I could play for Arizona at the time, so just going
Mhm.
out there and show you I could have,
Right.
um, and then that same year we ended up beating Arizona at Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
number 2, and then the crowd rushed, and it was senior night. That was a highlight of my career. I kind of joke about that with Josh, a little bit from time to time because I think that was the only time we beat Arizona my years there.
Mm-hmm.
Always good battles, and as years went by, I never had hate or anything for Arizona. Still respected and loved, and some of the coaches on the coaching staff who were with Sean Miller at the time, some of them were still there. So
Right.
it's always great to see them. Obviously, me and Tommy Lloyd, we had a great relationship built each year. So even the guys on the team, who were going to be essentially my teammates,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still close with them, good friends with them. So. But yeah, it was a little bit of a edge to me, a chip on my shoulder, if you will.
When you reflect back on your college career, what would you say was your favorite college game you played in?
My favorite college. Um, Honestly, I want to say, man, I don't know. It's a lot of them because I don't want to be cliche, but I feel like nothing is gonna top that Florida game.
That's what I was gonna say. The game winner. Yep.
Nothing's gonna top that. And then the fact that it wasn't just me. Everyone talks about the shot I made, but our whole team, I think the whole starting five and a couple guys off the bench had above 10 points.
Yep.
And it was like a big thing in March Madness, and we were just it just felt like a together type of win. It wasn't easy at
Mhm.
all, but in that environment, it was just amazing. But me personally, I think it was when we played. I think it was when we played Colorado State,
Okay.
my first time, my sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that time it was just leading up to it. Isaiah Stevens was still there. Who
And
was
was David Roddy there? Or was that he was gone that year?
David Roddy wasn't there.
Okay, so it was a second. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, it just was Isaiah Stevens. Obviously, we're great friends. I
Mm-hmm.
respect him. We built a really really great relationship over the years as well, and even the success he's having right now. With the Heat, I
Yep.
love it. Happy for him. He just signed a 2-way with them
Mm-hmm.
during the season. So it's great. But leading up to it, I'm not gonna lie, Coach Boyle was kind of lighting a fire in me because he was we were watching film. He was like, "This is a real point guard, elite point guard." And he knew what to do to get me going, and I knew it was on purpose. So
Mm-hmm.
leading up to that game, I was like, come on. And this is Colorado State rivalry. The
Yeah.
crowd was packed. And Coach Prime, he pulled up to the game. That was his first time pulling up.
Right. Right.
He even sat in the stand, so it was mad loud. Yeah, that was an unbelievable experience. And I had a out of body type of game where I was just out there just trying to just prove myself again. It was just great, man. It was great. That was a top memory for sure.
You talk about the Coach Prime aspect. Obviously, the whole world saw it from the outside looking in, but you being a fellow athlete on campus when Coach Prime gets there, what was the
Mhm.
vibe like with him just being on campus?
It was great. It
Mm-hmm.
was great. I mean, I shared this story a couple times, but the Coach Prime, like he is as advertised. Just because a camera is out or if a camera isn't out, he's going to be the same person. Like, and I can respect that. And but one of the things that showed me the kind of person he is this is when me and Coach Prime, we didn't really like we obviously we may have spoke, but it wasn't much. Like it was just a hello or something.
Sure.
But he had a team dinner with the 76ers at the time, and because they were practicing in Colorado for the altitude during training camp.
Okay.
So he had a dinner set up, just him and the 76ers. But he invited me, Tristan, and Cody
Mm.
at the time, which was my junior year. Yeah. So he was like, he came up to us, approached us when we were eating lunch, and he was like, well, I'm having this dinner with the 76ers. I feel like it would be beneficial to you guys. You guys could come, ask questions, learn a lot, and I just feel like it'll be good for you.
Mm.
So, I mean, to do that, like, he didn't have to do that. He
Right.
didn't do at all. So that kind of showed me who he was as a person, and he just wants the best for people. So when he did that, it was great, and I had a great time. I remember I had great conversations with Danny Green and Kelly Oubre,
Mm.
I was sitting with at the table, and next to me was the head table with Coach Prime and Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, and I'm like, dang, like I remember telling Danny Green and Kelly Oubre, like, man, I'm trying to get to where y'all at, man. Like this is crazy, but that just showed so much for me. I was so thankful for that, and I made sure to thank him and show my appreciation because it did go a long way. He's a great person, but his effect was crazy though.
Mm-hmm.
It carried over to basketball, honestly.
You just talk about the aspect of thinking back and saying, you know what, I want to be in your position. I want to be an NBA guy.
Mhm,
Obviously, that is the shoes you're in now. And I was actually going to even go back to, I remember asking you when we did our last interview,
mhm,
what's some of your goals, your dreams you want to accomplish? And one of those were being in the NBA one day. But
mhm.
I said, I'm curious, if at that point in time, if we go to back 5 years ago now, did you ever think you'd actually be in this position? Like, did you truly believe that, you would be in the NBA playing, making money from the NBA, playing on the NBA court?
Honestly, humbly, I say yes.
Okay.
That's just like I just wanted it to happen that bad, and in my mind, there was nothing that was going to stop me from doing it. Obviously, I understand. You know, there's so much there's so much. I don't want to say luck, but it's just such a blessing and a miracle. Like it doesn't happen to everybody,
Right.
and I know it especially being young. Like it's almost everyone's dream to be a professional athlete when you play a sport. So, like when it happens, like it just I humbly say like I knew it was going to happen, but at the same time I'm so grateful. But that's just how confident I was. Like nothing was going to stop me, from
Okay.
doing.
You also brought up like a singular expression a little bit ago when we were talking about the fact that the Colorado Buffaloes are no longer in the Pac-12 anymore.
Right.
Obviously, you got out a little before this craziness happened now, but now you know that Pac-12, all the schools you mentioned that were recruiting you, USC, Washington, Oregon, all of them, they're in the Big Ten now. Colorado, Arizona, they're in the Big 12 now. What's your thoughts on all that?
That's crazy, man. That's crazy because when I was growing up, it was still Pac-12. You know,
Yeah,
that's what I was used to. I know, obviously, Colorado, they went back to the same conference that they came from.
yeah,
That I grew up on the Pac-12, and it just was. It was honestly kind of sad, but it was kind of cool to kind of be the last wave of it, I guess. You
right.
for the last season, I just wish we would have won our Pac-12 championship because that would put the cherry on top. Um, but I mean, we got there, but we just came up short. But it kind of is crazy. Yeah, it's crazy to think about. But at the same time, it's a lot of good competition in the conferences that the schools went to.
Yeah.
Now it just heightens, more teams there, so a little less room for error.
Mhm.
But I like it though. I kind of wish a part of me wishes that I was able to go up against those schools
Yeah.
when I could. But obviously, I'm happy with the decision I made.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is kind of crazy.
You talked about the aspect of when you were going through the recruiting process, you knew you wanted to be Pac 12. And I have to imagine a lot of it was because of obviously growing up in California, you just stay closer to home. if you were to go through the recruiting process today, would that have changed anything now? Because the new current Pac-12, I know they're rebuilding now. Gonzaga's heading in there, a couple other teams as well. Would you still have an emphasis on being a part of the Pac-12, or would schools like USC, Washington, Oregon, even Arizona, Colorado, still been in play, even though they're no longer Pac-12 schools?
That's a good question. Honestly, I want to say I agree with both sides
Okay.
because a part of me was like growing up and see the Pac-12 schools. Like I knew I wanted to play in that conference.
Yeah.
So if it was different and turned around, like I was familiar with the schools that were playing in the current Pac-12 conference, I guess.
Hmm.
Then maybe. But at the end of the day, I honestly want to say like it just was more so about the opportunity I would get.
Okay.
I don't want to say it's too much of the school.
Hmm.
I just knew growing up like I loved the Pac-12, so I was just fortunate to get offers mainly from there. But I just at the end of the day, like if it was just any other school that seemed like best fit for me and best opportunity, then by all means I would have went there.
The other aspect too, and I feel like the most drastic aspect of this whole conference expansion thing is the traveling thing. Obviously, you're now in the NBA, so you get the aspect, but balancing academics with that traveling has got to be a little bit difficult.
That's,
Would that have played an impact on you?
I mean, it's hard to say because I would credit, being at Colorado, we had an amazing academic advisor. Her name was Mindy.
Okay.
She was just kept us on our toes, like honestly. So she helped instill in me and like a little bit of importance of like time management and understanding. Okay, you got a game, you got practice. You don't want to worry about schoolwork, leading up to that. So
Right.
she helped me kind of. I don't want to say get my life together because I was good at that. I went to a good high school,
Right.
but just like in college, it's a different level. So I think she just taught me to just be very communicative to like my teachers
Hmm.
and just try and piece things out and plan things accordingly before like situations like that happen. But at the same time, though, I wouldn't be traveling like how these teams are right now. And
Yeah.
traveling in the NBA, I can tell you, like it's a huge adjustment. It is,
Hmm.
and that's a lot of hours in the air and a lot of time away from things that you could be doing. So
Right.
I think it's just a balance of having to have good time management, but I don't think it's just a one person thing. Like I definitely think a lot of people have to play a part in that. So
Right.
it is kind of difficult to think about.
Would that have impacted your recruiting process? I mean, I know the Big 12, I feel like, is a little bit more better set up. It's a little more, closer and they have the different sections and all that. So you wouldn't be traveling too often. I mean, UCF and Arizona is probably the furthest distance you get out there. But I mean, that Big 10 one, you have the Rutgers in New Jersey all the way out to USC and California. That's a hectic one. Would that have impacted your recruiting now if you were to go through that process again?
I don't know, maybe
Right.
because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Obviously, I know Arizona and Colorado, they're like kind of close to each other,
Yeah.
but I've been to Arizona before. So when I was choosing schools, like that comfortability of knowing like I've been to Arizona before, it's
Fair
not
enough. Yeah.
too far from California. So obviously Colorado isn't either, but that familiarity like made me more comfortable going or choosing Arizona because I
Gotcha.
didn't know much about Colorado. So to know like how far of a school, you know, Rutgers is compared to USC, something like that, like
Hmm.
that's a big jump. That's like I don't know if my honestly I might have been okay. I don't know if my parents would have been okay, but yeah, that's I think that does you have to take things like that into consideration.
Right.
Yeah.
You also got thrown right into the college scene when NIL came into play, and that's obviously a massive thing. And now it's even become bigger. Now that you have shared revenue coming into play, I guess just happened yesterday. Came into play.
Yeah.
How about that aspect? When you just talk about being thrown right into the mix with this entire transfer portal, NIL expansion, everything kind of going on at the same time. What was the NIL portion like for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of crazy, honestly. Like I
Hmm.
came in my first year, it was normal college,
Yeah.
like nor and then like things just started to ramp up. NIL came in, transfer portal came in, and now you look now, it looks like another league. Like, and it's crazy to think about. I know for us at Colorado, um, it's for the basketball team at the time. Like, it wasn't too much NIL.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for me though, it was always about like making the most opportunities and just getting to the NBA. Like, I knew the money aspect would come in. So, even right now, like I know guys at Colorado right now are probably making more money than I was when I was there,
Yeah.
and that's okay because I mean, it honestly is a blessing because it's like that the teams that I was on and the teams that were there before, like we kind of paved the way for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool, but yeah, I mean, it kind of also sucks to think about, because missed out on a lot of NIL that obviously schools like Duke and the Kansas of the world's like, yeah, obviously you knew they had that. So when you look back, it could have been different, but
Right.
it still was. I mean, we still had some NIL. I'm gonna be grateful for the stuff I got.
Right.
So it was cool. And then the transfer portal, it wasn't, it was starting to get hectic, but not how it is now.
Yeah.
I got out just in time because now it's turning too much of into a business for me,
Mm.
honestly. So it's kind of crazy.
I want to actually follow up with that point you just brought up there. You look at the new college landscape. Like I said, firmly believe that guys should be getting paid. I like the shared revenue. I think those are all massive things. But there probably should be some form of structure. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to happen. But
Yeah.
when you look at the new college basketball scene, which, in my opinion, almost is like a second professional league in America now,
Mhm.
what is your thoughts? Does change in a more order need to be brought into this? Is this okay where we're at right now? What's your thoughts overall on the landscape?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that go into it. Honestly, I've made like PowerPoint, uh, like homework assignments on this, even when I was in college. Like,
Okay.
it's a lot of things that go into it because it's like obviously being an athlete myself, I feel like I definitely want to get paid for your name, image, and likeness. I
Definitely.
feel like that's justified, and athletes way before who kind of were fighting for that and trying to pave the way for that. Like, you definitely feel for them for missing out on it, but I think what what comes with it is the fact that then it starts to turn more into a business, and like you said, you have to add like a certain things to kind of like take a step back on it and be like, hold on, this is still college. Like,
Mm,
that's why I feel like it's so difficult to navigate right now because it's hard to put like it's hard to put a little bit of like what am I trying to say? It's hard to like put certain things in motion to kind of not stop it from happening, but like put a little bit on hold
sure.
because like it's happening at a fast rate, and
Hmm.
it there's the pros of it, but there's also some cons with it.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's like a difficult conversation to be had, especially as an athlete who definitely wants to get paid off their name. But
Hmm.
I definitely see the other side of it and how it can get too hectic. So I think it's something that's going to be talked about for a really long time. Honestly, just like how we wanted to pay college athletes for a long time, I think this is definitely going to be talked about how it's turning more into a business now.
When you look at yourself, your freshman season, you're coming off a really solid overall year. You get all freshman team, but that you take the massive jump your sophomore season. That's when the portal gets going. That's when NIL gets going. And as you said, I don't know the exact numbers, but I know Colorado obviously does not have as much of an NIL as some schools out there. At least
Yeah.
schools that probably would have been interested in yourself. So why? Why did you want to stay at Colorado for all 3 years when I know, and you probably know as well, there
Mhm.
could have been a lot larger payments at bigger schools available to yourself?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, there's no shying away from that. That was definitely, thing, conversations that happened. But for me, that's not how I'm built. I mean, we talked about it, you know, a long time ago. Like when I went to Chaminade, the reason I went to Chaminade was I'm big on culture.
Yeah.
I'm big on loyalty, and when I commit to something, like I don't I don't look the other way, or I don't um, just change my tune. Like I'm just when I commit to you, like I'm loyal to you. You got my 100%, and
Mm.
so I did that. That's been all my life. It was so hard to even for my dad to get me to switch AAU teams. Like, what I'm saying? Like, that's just how I was and how I was raised and how I grew up and how I believed. So, even in college, like, it just was the same way. Colorado, they gave me the best chance, the opportunity, and they bought into me when a lot of other schools didn't.
Right.
And so it's almost like a thing of like, I appreciate schools that take the chance on me, or just teams in general that take the chance on me when a lot of other people pass up on me. And then all of a sudden, when they see the player I've become a little bit from when it happened or when I was, and then all of a sudden you want me to be on your team. And I understand how that goes. You see the potential of people, and you see if they're going to pan out to be what you
Right.
know they can be. But that's just not how I'm wired, man. It's in Colorado. They gave me the chance and the opportunity, and I was going to give them my all. I wasn't going to turn the other way.
I know it happens. It's always been rumored that it happens. For yourself, were there ever schools, whether that be through representatives that reached out to your agents, your family, whatever it was, that try to get you out of Colorado?
Oh yeah,
so,
I mean definitely.
so that stuff is happening then?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But the thing about my great circle that I have is that I let them handle it and
Right.
let them hear all the noise and all that, and they just kept me focusing on basketball. And
Mm,
it stands even to this day. Like, just continue to work on basketball, continue to get better, and just that's the thing you can focus on. Focus and control what you can control, and they
right.
can handle all the outside stuff, and that's been a beautiful balance in my life and helped me stay focused and locked in. So, but I mean, definitely there were schools that reached out, even when I was trying to see if I wanted to obviously go through the process of declaring for the draft. Like, there was big conversations of if you don't go to the draft and you want to come back to college, like
Mm-hmm.
this could be your situation, things like
Yeah.
that. And obviously, when people throw numbers at you that you have never, you dream about making. Uh,
Right.
Obviously it's like eye opening, especially for me because I know it's not just me in this. Like, I have a family and people around me that I want to take care of and things like
Yeah.
that. It's always been my dream to do, but at the same time I feel like kind of making decisions based off money kind of isn't always the best, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what made it so easy to kind of go to the NBA. Honestly, is hearing those numbers and everything. I thought about how I could take care of my parents and the people around me, but at the same time, it's like this is my dream. Like, money will come. Money. I'm not worried about money. I don't want to make a decision based off money. So that's what kind of made it a little bit easier for me.
That one situation you kind of gave the idea about, you declared you still had one more year of eligibility available if you so wanted to do that. We've seen a lot of those guys in this past year. I think we saw more so than ever before. Is at least one of the guys ever entered the draft process. And you had guys like Yaxel. Obviously, he was someone that went to the NBA draft process, could have been a late first round pick, early second, goes over to Michigan. And I know the numbers have been thrown out there. It's a significant amount of money to get him to go out there to college. Is that making it more enticing now where you see yourself, you could go to the NBA, you could earn it two way, you can get a second round contract, whatever that might look like. These guys in college are paying quite a bit. Was that an easy decision for yourself, or what was going through your mind when that was something presented to yourself?
For me personally, I think it was a little bit easier for me just
Okay.
because with the season that I had, and it just would simply mean I would have to replicate and do the exact same thing that I did, which I had no doubt in my mind I was capable of doing. But who's to say, my stock would drop or raise. And for me, I was confident in where I was at the time. And if you hear even the slightest that you could get drafted or there's a high chance you are, then
Mhm.
that's all I needed. And I'll let the rest be what it is. But it kind of made it easier for me to just declare and just go. Because at the end of the day, this is my dream.
Mhm.
If I have the chance to go out there, and especially feeling like I have the best chance to go and make my dreams happen, turn it into reality, and why not? But I will say, like, even talking to some like of friends, college friends that I have, like, it is changing now. Though I feel
Yeah.
like the money that they're making now in college, it's like, okay, the NBA isn't going anywhere. Let me make money right now because you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's just kind of crazy to think about, because it changes things. It changes things. Like, when you have the position to make millions of dollars in college,
Mhm.
and then you can declare for the NBA and pretty essentially already be a millionaire.
Yep.
That's crazy to think about, and that's not something that I was used to hearing growing up. Like,
Gotcha.
so I think definitely on other people right now, like you see guys staying in college,
Hmm.
at least amount of guys to declare for a draft. Money's being thrown around in college, and you might as well stay. But I know for me, that's just not how I was wired. And when the chance presented itself, I wanted to go to the NBA.
Would there have been a number that had somebody proposed it to yourself that I said, "Oh, you know what? That might be something I cannot pass down." And if so, what would that number have had? Because I mean, we're seeing numbers right now with those rumors of guys getting 2, 5 million, even for someone like AJ. Obviously, that was the number one recruit getting
Yeah,
7. What would the number have been for yourself?
that's insane. I don't know what the number would be. Honestly speaking, I don't know what the number would be. I feel like when you see anything after a meal or something, then that's something that will catch your eye.
Right.
Um, I don't know what that number would be. I don't know, but I just know like the way I'm wired, it would be more difficult to stay than it would to go
Love
declare.
that.
But the higher the number goes,
There's always a price.
at the end of the day, like I'm thinking, like, man, I can take care of my girlfriend. I can take care of my family, my aunt, cousins. Like I can be good, like take care of them, and
Yeah.
that's difficult to think about as well, especially because you never know where kids are coming from and
Yeah.
the people they have around them, and how bad they need money at that time. And so,
Yep.
but I'm gonna just say no. We're going to the NBA. That's how.
I love that. I was going to bring this up that they've had obviously so many guys from high school to college players, obviously NBA as well now, and so often in this new era, I feel like some of the guys that have truly, genuinely a mindset of saying, you know what, the money didn't matter. I want to go to the NBA, so therefore I'm going to pick the best fit for myself, the best situation. More often than I've seen than not, those guys end up going to the NBA, and obviously you're another testament to that story there. So I'm curious, what ingrained that mentality inside yourself where you said, you know what, my goal is NBA, whether that means the most amount of money or not, I'm going to go pursue the NBA. What kept you so driven on that goal?
Just I just love basketball so bad. I think
Mm,
my parents, obviously, but mainly my dad. Like he was my role model. He was the person who taught me how to play basketball.
right.
Um, and he was really, really, really like hard on me. Growing up. Not to say it was crazy, nothing that I
Yeah.
couldn't afford, but he just pushed me to be the best version of myself, and he loved basketball so much. He's one of those people that it's his passion. Like he
Mm,
eat, sleep, think basketball. So when I remember him asking me, "Are you sure this is what you want to play? Because I'm gonna in your dream, because I'm gonna push you. If that's really your dream, I want you to accomplish your dreams, and that's my goal
mm,
as a parent." That was what he told me, and that I really meant it, and I really wanted to, and so that was just it made it easy for me to stay on basketball and continue that path, and then just also the sacrifices that they made. Like I'll never I have so many like I don't know if they know this, but I have so many like notes and like reminders on my phone of like nights when my dad had to go to work or
mm,
days where my mom had to get up really early and take the bus to go to work. Like, and I'm not to say, we weren't blessed and fortunate growing up, but like I knew the sacrifices that they made just so I can play basketball, just so I could
mhm.
go to an AAU tournament that was in Atlanta or
Right.
even EPL session. Like, so I think their sacrifice and just seeing that up close and personal, like made it really comfortable for me to just want to make it so bad, not just for myself, but for them as well. And that's why when I got drafted, like I knew I was crying, but in my parents, man, I knew they was going to bust out in tears. More. But when I really meant it when I said like I didn't just get drafted, like we got drafted because
Mm.
I wouldn't be here without them. So I think that's just made it, really easy for me to kind of stay on path.
Right. All right. So I do want to ask you a couple more things before we get to the NBA first season you had there. One of which is Tad Boyle. You talk about the fact of him being in your life 3 years, how he was considered, I guess more than 3 years, but 3 years as your coach, obviously.
Mhm.
When you reflect back on your time with him, what's your favorite memory with him?
Oh man, Coach Boyle. My favorite memory, honestly, my favorite memory, man. Honestly, my favorite memory was probably I have a bunch, but the one that kind of stuck out most with me, and it's more recent because like as a freshman, and sophomore, you're still learning, And obviously, my dad was always so hard on me, so
Mm-hmm.
nobody else could top him. Like, you can say anything in the world except if you. I'm not even going to say that out loud because fans will start saying it and get me mad. But like, what I mean is like my dad, he was the top one. He pushed me to the limit. Like, so he was the ultimate boss. So any coach I've ever had can like push me to the limit. I won't. I have a poker face. Like, I won't. I won't hold a
Mm,
grudge or nothing. I know what it means, and I know it's constructive criticism and anything. So I knew that's how Coach Boyle was, and it made me better for it. But my junior year was when, that was the year I was obviously playing at my best, and I
right.
forget he like went on a rant and he was saying like how I was playing some of the best basketball, excuse me, that he's ever seen in his life, and um, he was going in on reporters saying like I don't know how KJ is not an All American, and I could see the frustration. He was like, it pisses me off. Like, it was so like funny to see how furious he was and how upset it really made him.
Right.
The fact of just simply like I wasn't getting the credit still that he thought that I deserved. Honestly, even with the year I was having, just simply based off the fact that we were playing in the Pac-12 and it was Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So that was honestly, it meant a lot to me because it showed like how true and how he will always be in my corner. And to this day, like, still talk on the phone, like have great conversations, and he's always in my corner. But like when he did that, like it meant so much more to me than I think he understood. And he was just being genuine, like speaking his mind on how he felt. And it meant a lot. There was a lot of great memories though that I had. I mean, funny memories, memories where I got cussed out. Like it's been great, man. But I definitely thank Coach Boyle because he was kind of like the perfect coach I needed to help me get here.
I feel like Tadpole is such an underrated coach overall because you look at what he's done. The resources we already discussed, they're not one of the top in the entire nation. They have good resources. They are in the Big 12 now, but in the comparison, it's not obviously top tier. But
Mhm.
yet, you look at just in your own career's time span, you play a guy like Jabari Walker's in the NBA, Tristan DeSilver's in the NBA, yourself's in the NBA, Cody Williams is in the NBA. That's not an easy task to do when you have not the amount of funding that he has, at least the least amount of funding he has.
Yeah.
How does he do this, and just what is he like as a coach, both on and off the court?
He's just old school. He's just old
Mm,
school. Like he keeps it straight up with you. And for the players and people that can endure that, you see them get better for it. And that's just I can respect that. I can respect that aspect. Like he's just gonna be someone who's upfront with you, and he's just gonna push you. And there's gonna be days you don't like him. And I know he has no doubt in my mind. Like there was days where I was just like, oh, like I'm tired of coach. Like but like it was just a like he was just trying to get us better. That was the end.
mm,
That was the main thing. And so the players that come through the program, like they have to see that and buy into that. And he's somebody who was so built on like not changing his ways either.
mm,
He's built on recruiting high school players and developing them and um, seeing them blossom and turn into who they are. But obviously now with the transfer portal and NIL, he has to kind of adjust his ways a little bit. I know that was kind of difficult for him to do because, like I said, he's old school.
mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, that's just how he's wired. Like he's just even off the court. Off the court, he's a great person. He's a great person. Just wants the best for you, and he wants to help you grow and be the man uh, that you're going to be, years later.
Right.
And so I could respect that and appreciate him and forever, we'll have that relationship with him for that. But yeah, I mean, even I even throw like Neek in there, who's
Mm-hmm.
who's
That's
really
right. Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
like, I know we all had conversations like that's crazy. We all like we're on the same team. But it's just like I feel like he just helped us get to this point, whether it was positive for certain people or even negative for certain people. Like he's gonna push you to be the best version of yourself, and
Right.
I think that's all you can ask.
The last question I have for you about college. When you
Hmm.
look at these numbers, I just want to hear your thoughts because you only played 3 years at Colorado, yet you finished your 3-year career at Colorado, ninth in assists, 11th in three-pointers, 13th in steals, 15th in points in program history. You accomplished all that in 3 years. Is that all? Are all the stats that you expected to have? Does that shock you? When you think about what you accomplished in just 3 years, what's your thoughts on your Colorado career overall?
Yeah, it's crazy because I mean, obviously my mentality was just go in there and just play to win, play the best version of me I can, and obviously, I everyone has individual goals. Like I had a goal of making all freshman team, all Pac-12,
Sure.
but um, like it wasn't my goal to try and go and break records and things like that. Like I just wanted to go out there and play basketball. And by the way, I knew I can play, and the opportunity that I had, I was able to go out there and do that. And so to hear that, it kind of is great. And there's no doubt in my mind that if I would have stayed, at I definitely would move up. But it just is great, to even be sketched into history or tied into history with players like McKinley and Chauncey and Spencer
Mm,
Dinwiddie and Derek White, like Alec Burks, like guys like that. It means everything, and it's kind of great and crazy to think about.
absolutely, man. Well, let's go into this NBA process because 1 year ago you were getting drafted. 1 year ago, you try and go through the NBA draft process. Yours was a little bit cut short because of the injuries and all those different aspects. But
Yeah,
what was the NBA draft process like for yourself?
yeah. I mean, it was great. I enjoyed it. I mean, I was still at college, and I left early to go to LA. I signed with Clutch and start my pre-draft early, and so I was still trying to balance school out while
Hmm.
my pre-draft stuff. But shout out to the teachers that I had; they were once I told them I was going to declare for the NBA, and I would still be doing schoolwork, and obviously the relationships that I built with them, being over communicative and things like that, always emailing them, they were like so helpful for me to make it easy on me. So, but yeah, it was great. I mean, the pre-draft process was great. Working out was great. So grateful to get invited to the combine. That was great. And I knew I was somebody that wanted to play at the combine.
Yeah.
Obviously, for me, I was in a big gap spot where my projected draft or my projected pick was like anywhere from like late first to early second. So that's a big window.
Yeah.
So I knew for sure like I was gonna play, and I definitely felt like I was gonna improve myself by playing, and which I did.
Yeah.
Um, and it was great, and the few workouts that I did have was excellent. Like I was enjoying it, and I was honestly doing really well. And then, unfortunately, I got hurt.
Mm.
I strained my hamstring, and that kind of sucked. And I didn't realize the severity of it, and it ended up being a almost 5 month process, and coming back from that injury. So I went from like all time high of like getting, talking to agents, talking to this certain teams, and like how they're saying they love me and they want to come have me for a workout. But when I got hurt, I wasn't able to go work out, and so it just kind of it went from like being up here to like just
Hmm.
sinking. I didn't feel helpless because I felt like I did enough. Obviously to I had a good resume behind me. I think playing at the combine, like I said, helped me a lot.
Definitely.
And so at the end of the day, I still got drafted, and I was thankful for that happening. Obviously that's such a blessing, and I dreamt about that all my life. And for me, it didn't matter where I got drafted, what team. Like I said, whoever drafted me believed in me, and I was going to give them my all. And it ended up being the Hornets, and I'm so grateful for that, for pick number 42, and that will always mean something to me. So yeah.
I want you to go a little bit deeper and elaborate a little bit more on that aspect of getting injured because you talk about this, you're at the high of highs. That's a huge thing for yourself. And obviously, getting injured at that point in time is probably one of the worst times. If you could pick a time, it's probably one of the worst times you want to get hurt.
For real.
When this all goes down for yourself, you're talking late first round pick, early second round pick. You still obviously get drafted, all worked out at the end of the day.
Mhm.
But from a mental standpoint, how did that impact you, and how did you get through it from that standpoint?
Man, it was so tough. It was so tough.
Right.
Um, when it happened it happened in Orlando during a pre-draft workout, and then after that, I didn't know what it was. Like, I thought it was just like my hamstring. I thought it was just tight. Like in Orlando, I didn't really. It wasn't a crazy strain, so I was able to finish the workout. But I
Okay.
ended up having to do another one in Minnesota, right after that. So I flew to Minnesota, let them know, hey, like, um, we didn't, in Orlando, I kind of did something to I'm kind of tight a little bit in my legs. Like, can we like get a little more in depth warm up in? And we did that, and I was stretching like crazy. I mean, the night before icing, I ordered a what's the gun? I
Yeah,
ordered
massage gun. Yeah.
a massage gun. Like I ordered that. I was getting the hyper thing. I was getting ready. The hypervolt. I was getting ready, and ended up going through a little warm up, and I felt a little bit in my hamstring, but I was dunking in the warm up, so I'm like, okay, we gonna get through it.
Hmm.
And then, sure enough, the first thing we did, I took off on my right leg, and I felt the immediate like just and it just felt like a cramp that couldn't go away, and I was like, I didn't know what happened. Yeah, so it was very difficult because you know the things that I learned about hamstrings and what's so tricky about it is even when it feels like it's fine because you're off of it and you're not doing nothing, it still hasn't fully healed.
Hmm.
So at the time, I went back to LA and was just rehabbing. And shout out to Sports Academy and the trainers that were there, and just Dr. Tyler and everybody that helped me. Just get the proper treatment that I needed, and it was just something I was important on and trying to work on getting better. But it was frustrating because I had teams that were in my projected where I was going to get drafted,
Hmm.
and the picks that they had, and I couldn't go work out for them, and I would still get invited to come down and do interviews, and I love doing interviews, so it's like that was easy to do, but I wanted to go out there and show like, nah, I am the player as advertised, if not more,
All
and
right.
I couldn't do that because I was hurt. So you even had teams reaching out like a week later asking like, yo, is he healthy now? Can he come back for a workout? And I couldn't, and it just sucked because I was trending in an upward motion,
All right.
leading up into the draft, and it's difficult. I mean, everybody could do what ifs. Everyone can do like maybe if I don't get hurt, I get picked somewhere else, and but I mean, I'm not gonna bank on that. I'm not gonna live off what ifs. And I feel like I got drafted to where I got drafted to, and I'm thankful for that, and I'm never gonna get upset about that, but I am gonna get kind of upset about like coming in hurt because that was just an immediate obstacle.
Yeah.
Even just rookie year, like I told you, that span of trying to get back that rehab, it took a really long time, and um, I wasn't able to do no pickup the whole time. I wasn't able. I barely got into training camp a little bit, you know.
Hmm.
So my first time really getting to go up and down was honestly the preseason games, and I was like, I was just like, like and
Yeah.
as a rookie and like coming into the NBA, I'm trying to navigate all this, and so it just it was a lot, But I appreciate everybody from the Hornets organization, from the coaches to the owners to my teammates to the training, staff. Like everybody, they saw how bad that I wanted to come out and play, but they just gave me the proper treatment and you know kept my mind at ease, and just we slowly, gradually like was working out and things like that. So thankfully, I'm fully healthy. A year later, but yeah, what it was very difficult and like led up to even the first part of that little rookie year that I had early when the season started. Like it was so much that went into it that I don't think a lot of people know about, but it was hard. But like I said, credit to everybody, my family, my girlfriend, agents, like everybody around me supported me. So it was great.
You go back at that moment in time. Obviously, you can't go back. It all worked out. But,
Yeah.
the draft process, it puts so much pressure on guys. And obviously, you're living for your dream. You want to impress scouts. You want to impress GMs. And
Mhm.
obviously, if you go back, you would have wanted to continue to work out. You wanted to keep doing these different things. Knowing what you know now, and I guess it could also be advice for guys going through the NBA draft process in the future. If you have some form of injury as you had in the exact examples you provided, would you have still done that workout, or would you have said, hey, can I take a day or two off?
Well, knowing if it was my hamstring that was something like serious like that,
Yes, and obviously not knowing the exact extent of the injury yet, but obviously if something is kind of like something's not right.
yeah, I think I would go back in time and not take that workout. For me, it was like the end of the world. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I gotta have these workouts. I gotta go out there and prove to these teams that I can and can be the player that you think I'm going to be, and
Right.
I would be considered as someone you would draft.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, yeah, it's something I would kind of go back in time and kind of like not do. Maybe
Right.
be, but I mean, at the end of the day, though, I didn't know the severity of it. I didn't even know I was able to finish the workout the first time when
Yeah.
it happened. So I just simply thought like my hamstrings were just a little more tight, and because it wasn't a pain thing, it wasn't. I didn't know what happened at all. So, um, but definitely a learning experience. Definitely something you have to take into consideration. For knock on wood, but like things looking forward, if anything ever happens, like speak on it.
Right.
Just be a little bit more smart about how you navigate it.
Well, let's go back almost exactly a year ago, draft night. And the unique thing is the NBA on your year separated the 2 days. Obviously, you were on day two, and so you got the opportunity of actually like being in the green room and those type of things.
Yeah.
Take us to that night. 42nd pick comes around. Charlotte Hornets announced KJ Simpson. What was that experience like?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. I mean, what was crazy about it was my range was late first to early second. So it was like on the first day, it could have been an opportunity or space where I could have been drafted, even not working out for teams that was interested in me. So it was like I kind of thought by getting hurt that maybe I kind of fell a little bit,
Sure.
but I still was watching. Like, you never know. You never know. Certain guys get picked before they're supposed to, or things like that. But day two came, and it was definitely different from what I grew up on. Grew up on everything the first day. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, how ironic! I'm the first of the draft class that was there to
Right.
go experience that. So it was great, though. It was great. Obviously, getting drafted, the emotions are very high. You don't know where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Um, sitting in those seats, you're happy, you're excited, but you're also eager and like palms sweating. So, and the thing about the second day was I can only have a certain number of people at my table. There was like a green room for the the second day.
Yeah.
So you would have like certain people who were projected, I guess, to were the best or next available to get
Yeah.
picked. That would
He's
be
like the top 14. Yeah.
like that would be in the green room area. So I was fortunately able to be one of those people. So I could only have pretty much my parents at the table with me. I didn't have my agent with me or anybody else. My girlfriend with me, my aunt, cousin, like everybody was back at the hotel,
Mm.
um, waiting on me to get back. So I'm just like I'm not trying to be seen on camera, but talking to my agent, like just hearing going back and forth. This is what this team says. So it was like a up and down thing. But man, I remember I'll never forget like when my agent told me I was getting picked next for the Hornets. I didn't even like I was like, oh my god, like it just I didn't know I didn't feel real.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I was getting drafted, even though I dreamt of this and like always getting drafted and making it here, like it just was still like to hear it about to happen was crazy. So leading up to it, I'll never forget waiting and knowing that I'm gonna be hearing my name get called.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, all right, don't cry right now, don't cry right now. And it got called, and it was just like, like wow. And hugged my parents, and it was great, man. It was a great feeling. I got to shake the commissioner's hand, and everything after that was so fast. Interviews, uh,
Right.
press conference things, social media, like it was so fast. And then I got to go back and celebrate with the rest of my family at the hotel. And then come to find out you got to fly out the next day. Like it was so
Mm-hmm.
much, but I was just so happy. I felt for that night, like I got to just enjoy like everything. I got to
Mm-hmm.
enjoy everything and the blessing it was. And I'm so thankful that it happened.
Would you say that's the best moment of your entire life to this point?
Honestly, it's hard to top that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I've been thinking about this all my life, like
Yeah.
life. And I'll never forget. I'll never forget. I was in the 7th grade, and I had a teacher tell me we were having conversations of what you want to be throughout the whole class, and I said an NBA player, and he's like, okay. And then someone else said NFL player. Like, so he stopped and he spoke to the class, and he was like these are great things you guys want to be. I'm never gonna demolish your dreams, but you guys might want to start like have a plan B because you
Mm,
never know if it's gonna work out. It's a really, really high dream, and a lot of people dream for that to happen, and it's a small window of people that get to go.
right.
And humbly, I understood that. I know there's only 450 players in the league, and
Hmm.
one of them right now is unbelievable. Now that's why I think I work out so hard, because like opportunities like this just don't come around.
Hmm.
But when he said that, in my mind, like Plan B, you ain't. I'm finna go to the NBA. You want me to tell me it's not happening? No way. So like to look on that and just always have that mentality, um, it definitely like reassured me like everything's gonna be good, and it just
Mm.
kept me steady and like in my head about just focusing and keeping the main thing.
Let's hop into your rookie season in the NBA. As you already kind of alluded to a little bit, it was difficult. Rookie seasons for anybody is tough. It's a massive transition. Everything's going on. It's hectic. It's crazy to the least. You go in with the injury, and so there's a lot of stuff that people don't even realize is going on in your life.
Yeah.
Now that you look back at hindsight, what do you think of your rookie year? How was it overall for yourself?
Um, I mean, rookie year was, I mean, it was everything that you would expect, honestly. There was a lot of highs that came out of it, and a lot of great moments, a lot of lows, a lot of in the middle, in betweens, a lot of learning experiences, a lot of things you remember forever. Um, but I just feel like it's everybody's experience to figure out. You can talk about how the NBA is going to be, you can talk about the things you're going to challenge and be faced with, but I just think until you go through those moments, you really won't know like how it is.
Right.
And I definitely think I'm just a hard critic on myself. Like I definitely think I like the player I was. Let's put it like this: the player I am right now, even is just in this off season, would kill my rookie year self.
All right.
So yeah, people could quote me on that if they want to. But I just feel like, my rookie year, I don't want to say I left a lot on the table. I just was going in not knowing what to expect and making the most of opportunities that I had, and I feel like I did that, to a certain degree. And there's a lot of things I could learn from,
Mhm.
definitely, and get better at. But rookie year was rookie year, man. It is what it is, and I'm happy. I'm happy. Honestly, I'm happy. Wanted to do better,
Right.
well, not just individually, but like as a team as well.
Sure.
But like I'm just happy. I learned so much rookie year that's gonna help me moving forward. Like I said, the injury thing coming in, that's gonna help me moving forward. Even the positives that I had like throughout my rookie year was it helped me give me the confidence to show like no, I do belong, and it also proved to people like oh he can play, you know.
Right.
So I'm just excited to continue in doing that each year I have.
You had a split time on the two-way contract between Greensboro Swarm and obviously with the Charlotte Hornets. What is that like having to go bounce between the two different teams?
Yeah, it was like I said, it's not something you know how to navigate until experiencing it.
Right.
Um, I don't mean to keep banking on it, but like it just that was my rookie year. Like when I came in hurt, it was hard to navigate, and especially being in the NBA right away during preseason, like it just high tempo.
Hmm.
So I just this is my first time ever learning it and get to get. I didn't get a chance during summer league or
Right.
during training camp, so this is my first time ever experiencing it. So um, I do think going down to the G League helped me, find myself and
Right.
get into a rhythm because each time I would go back and forth, I got better.
Definitely.
And
Yep.
I feel like, I might have started off slow and then went down to G League, found a little bit of a rhythm, came back up, showed some spurts and signs of what I can be, went down again, was even better, then come back up, then you look up, he's like, oh shoot, like he can play, and I'm adding a lot and doing a lot to help the team, and then going back and just continue to get better. And also, I want to speak on the G League because I feel like there's a negative rep on it because
Hmm.
obviously that's not the end goal. That's not where I want to be or see myself playing.
Right.
But especially for an early young player, like there is benefits of it, and
Definitely.
if you approach it as a punishment, then it's gonna treat you bad. I feel like, and the way I approached it was, this is an opportunity for me to get into a rhythm. This is an opportunity for me to play on a team where I may not be able to have minutes right away. There was some DNPs. There was a 5 minute stretch here and there, like not knowing if I'll play or not. So now this is a chance for me to get in rhythm, get in shape,
Hmm.
and to play high level minutes. And then when my name is called, be ready. And that's how I approached it. And I feel like if you look throughout my season and my rookie year that I had, it shows.
Definitely. You get a lot more minutes. Obviously towards the back end of the season, the guys start getting shut down, and there's a lot more opportunity for yourself. And
Mhm.
as you said, I feel like you looked a lot more comfortable. Your season stats overall for the whole year were 7.8 points per game, just about under 8 points and 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Obviously, those numbers were a lot more inflated those final, month or so of the season.
Yeah.
When you talk about just getting to end your season, essentially on the high note, I know it wasn't most successful overall as a team, but on a high note for yourself, getting, NBA minutes against other great players at
Mhm.
that level, how big would you say that time span was for yourself now as you head into your sophomore second season?
Yeah, it was everything, honestly, because I mean, you look at some guys who were drafted ahead of me, they might have not even got the same chance or opportunity that I got, just simply
Yep.
because of the situation that they're in, at the time, whether that's people that are ahead of them or the way the team is made up. And unfortunately, guys went down for us, and it sucked. But my name was called, and I had opportunity there to go out there and play, and now it's a chance for me to go make the most of it. I mean, to even say like I was starting for almost like a certain point in my rookie year, almost half of it, starting certain games, like it was crazy to think about because now I'm getting experience that a lot of other people may not have been getting at the time. And
Right.
that's why heading into year two, like I feel I'm very high on myself because the experience and opportunities that I did have, you look back on it, it's hard to not acknowledge and learn from.
Mm. I also want to ask about another tough part about your season last year. Obviously, the Jalen Wells situation happens, but I want to ask about what happened from the mental standpoint for yourself because that was probably one of the most, attacks you've ever been at one point in your career. Obviously, I don't know how much you went through social media, but obviously, a lot of people had the different thoughts and whatever that might be.
Yeah.
When you had to now be in the situation you've seen so many former athletes be in, where you're being attacked, that had to be difficult as a rookie. How
Yeah.
did you just get through the mental standpoint of trying to still perform and do your job and knowing that you had to deal with something that I know you didn't even intend to do?
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate you asking that because I think this is the first time I get to like actually speak on it.
Okay.
And it was very difficult. I don't want to make it too much about me because the thing about it, it's a sensitive topic. Because the thing about it is, I don't think a lot of people know this, but me and Jaylen are actually really good friends. Like
Mm,
we played against each other, I want to say 3 or 4 times during this Pac-12 season.
right. Yeah.
And, when he was at Washington State, and obviously when you're one of the players on your team going against another one of the players on the other team, like you start running into each other a bunch, and then you start to build a relationship. And ironically, we were on the same team at the combine for our scrimmages.
Mm,
So I hung out with him, and it was just like we built a good relationship. And the thing that was most difficult about the situation was like it was a complete and total accident. Like
yeah.
I never win in a million years the person I am. I would never do that to anybody. I would never go out of my way to maliciously harm somebody or pull somebody out the way. And I can explain it to the best of my ability all I want. I try to go and make an effort because what I don't think what people understand is we were literally at the free throw line next to each other right before that, and we're shooting free throws and we missed and he took off. So essentially, that's someone who I'm guarding, and me being the player I am, I'm on a 2-way contract. I'm a rookie. I can't go up. I can't not give my all on the play. That's my mentality.
Yeah.
And I just try to go, and all I simply try to do was I wasn't trying to I didn't think I was gonna go and like pin his shot on the backboard. Like all I simply was trying to do was jump over, reach my hand over him, and try and get him to pump fake or something so somebody can come and I think it was Mark at the time who's trailing, make a second contest. That like I I tried my best to do that, and unfortunately, like I didn't see the way he took off, and I didn't expect him to take off from how far he did.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, last second when I jumped and I realized I was in his trajectory and I was going to hit him, I tried to get out the way. Unfortunately, I clipped him, and when he went up, he came down, and I immediately was ran to him and to see if he was okay. And it was just a scary feeling. Like honestly speaking, like I still like to this going back to it, it's kind of crazy because that was like a lot for me. And it wasn't about me at all. I'm not trying to make this about me.
Yeah,
Like,
no.
Jaylen's a great person. Like I said, we're great friends. And my immediate reaction was just like I wanted to make sure he was okay. And when he was on the floor for a long time, it was just hard to see, and I didn't know what to do. Like I was just in shock. Like I was everyone's coming up to me and telling me like, "Are you okay? Like, don't worry, we know you didn't do it intentionally." Like, and all that and all that. But it was scary. And then obviously to see the stretcher come out, like,
Yeah.
just all over the place. And then I wasn't even thinking about the ejection, like, or anything like that. I was just hoping that he was okay. And honestly, like the moment, I don't know if it's on someone caught it, but like I immediately when I was walking off, like apologized, prayed for him, and then I immediately when I hit the tunnel, I'm not somebody who's a big crier, but when I hit the tunnel, I immediately started bawling
Hmm.
because it's like I know how great of a person Jaylen is, and like I said, we're great friends, and I know he comes from a great family. When he got drafted the second day, like his table was literally right there. I saw how happy his family was, how they all, shed tears of joy and all that, and like we said congratulations and everything. Like it was. I was happy for him, to have that moment. So to feel the way that I did, about him, and for that to happen, it really sucked. And my main thing, like immediately after, was how do I get in contact with him? I want him to know like it was a complete accident,
Right.
and that was the first thing on my mind. I asked my agent, "Can you please find a way to get me in contact with him?" Because the only thing I had at the time was we followed each other on Instagram, and at that time, Instagram, you could be flooded with comments and DMs about, what happened. And so I got his number and I was able to apologize. And immediately, thankfully, he knew it wasn't malicious or intentional. Like he knew, obviously, we're close friends. So it just sucked, it sucked. And then to get onto the like whole social media aspect thing of it, it was crazy, bro. Like
Hmm.
it was insane. Like usually things on social media don't bother me, and it was a lot. That was a lot to go through and see like the things that people were saying. Like it kind of I was in a dark place. It like obviously it wasn't the end of the world, but it just felt like there was no coming back from it at the time.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, like I just wanted Jaylen and his family to know, like it wasn't malicious, and that's all. Like I just wanted them and the Memphis Grizzlies. Like I wanted, like I think Grant spoke on my behalf to them to let them know, like it was a complete accident. And what's crazy is I got word back with that the Grizzlies they knew it wasn't on purpose and everything like that, and it was just a unfortunate accident situation that happened. But that social media, like it was a lot. I mean, I didn't want to turn my comments off because I felt like in doing so that would like promote more people to feel like they got to me.
Right.
But I mean, you could ask anybody that was around me. It was just difficult. It was difficult. It was really difficult. Teammates supported me though. Obviously, my family supported me. My girlfriend supported me, and her family, my family, just everybody. Agent, my circle supported me. But it was really hard. It was. I had people checking up on me every day, and it was just tricky because like the people I knew and who knew me knew
Right.
I didn't mean to do it, but the world like knew or pointed me to be like just this ugly person, I guess, because of the situation, right? So
Yeah.
I still get a little bit like I don't want to say emotional, it's just like difficult because it's like the person I am, I would never do that, and
Right.
know me, know I wouldn't do that, but it meant everything that Jaylen, accepted my apology, and I wanted to publicly do it as well,
Mm-hmm.
because I just wanted to find a way to reach out to his parents and get there. And actually, his sister actually reached out to me, and you know, she said that she obviously we don't know each other much, but she knew I didn't mean to do it, and
Right.
it's an accident. So to have her say that and Jaylen forgive me, and the people like I said who knew me knew I didn't mean to do it. Like it was everything. So, but it was difficult. It was a really hard time. You look at the games after, like I didn't. It didn't feel like I could get away from it. Usually, when I play basketball, I can get away from things that happen in life. But because it was a basketball situation that happened and it was on my mind, it was difficult. It felt like kind of hard.
Right.
Those games after it did mess with me a little bit mentally, and that was kind of the first time something really, really hit me like that,
Mm-hmm.
where I had to go through and figure out. But again, it was unfortunate and it sucked. And if I could take it back, obviously I would 100 times. I swear to God, I would. But
Yeah.
I'm glad Jaylen, and I know he knew it was an accident, and we're great, man. I still reached out to him, and even like recently, I reached out to him like not too long ago to see how he was doing. Check up on him, make sure he was like recovering really well, and obviously, don't mean to say it like in this way, but thank God it was just the injuries that he had. I don't mean to say it like that, but like
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
it could have been a lot worse, and um, I'm just glad that he's doing really good and he's looks seem fully recovered, and I know our relationship. I hope gets closer because of it. Um,
Right.
yeah, it was a difficult time, obviously, to end the year like that, but you learn from it, and I just prayed on it, was big on it, and I'm really big on my faith, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I just try to pray on it and heal through it and ask for forgiveness because I didn't would never mean for that to happen. But yeah, and that's kind of like the first time I ever get to talk about it like openly out on like any platform.
Right.
Mm. And I don't want to make it like a big thing. It's not something I want to be remembered by. And so, but I definitely am grateful, for Jaylen and his family, and I'm glad he's okay and doing good.
The last thing I want to touch up on this real quickly is you talk about the faith component there. And like you said, when that all happened, I know you pretty well. And obviously, I knew you didn't intend to do that. But I know some people, a lot of people, most people in the world do not know you, don't have a personal relationship at all with you.
Yeah.
And so you have all these things happening. And when you're having your integrity, who you are as a person, as a man, being attacked because of some people that don't know you off of just one scene. And I get it, they could see the scene, whatever it is. But how do you deal with that knowing instead of staying factual to yourself, saying, you know what? I'm not this type of guy. Yes, it was a horrible situation, but I'm not that type of guy. How did your faith come into play, kind of trusting God in that time span and kind of saying, you know what, how do I take this burden in a sense off of me now?
Yeah, I think it was. I definitely wasn't an overnight thing. You
Yeah.
know, each day felt a little bit better. Um, like I said, my teammates and coaching staff and everybody with the Hornets really helped me. They always ask me, "Am I doing okay?" And do I feel better today? Do I want to talk about it? Do I not want to talk about it?
Mm,
And so I know that helped me out a lot. But just that talking with my parents and everything, just praying on it, Like I said, all I could do in that moment was pray for Jaylen, pray for his family, ask for forgiveness, and just pray that it gets better. I For me, it felt like in that moment it was like the end of the world almost,
Mm.
um, because it just was so fresh that I just felt like, I don't know. I just felt like in that moment there was no other side to it. Like the social media aspect of it and people reaching out to it won't stop. Like it just was every day. And now, like even like with ESPN and everybody and Bleacher Report all posting it, it just got more global, and it just was a lot. So just all I could do was just pray on it, and
Yeah.
obviously, in the moment, it was hard, but each day got better. And like you said, I'm big on faith and just being able to talk, to God by myself, and even in the prayer services that we would have the chapel before the game, like going up to it and going into it and just praying on it, and knowing, because it was a heavy thing on my heart. And even those games after, like I credit, and I give thanks, like certain players would come up after the game and pull me to the side and just tell me like they knew it wasn't, on purpose. And
Mm.
they knew it was difficult to kind of go through in that moment. So to have NBA players who I've never really spoke to ever help speak on my character and try and lift me up, even certain people, like I tried to stay off the social media, but like even all the people who reached out, people who didn't know me, like, and the people who would fight the other people in comments and be like, you can clearly see it was an accident and all that. And like it meant a lot to have
Mm.
and understand that there were people out there who understood and saw it from how it actually was. um but yeah, like I said, it was just a thing where you got to sit with God, and it's not an overnight thing, and you got to continuously, talk your mind and speak your mind, and don't shy away from it. It was hard, but thanks be to God and the people around me. I was able to break through it mentally. But at the end of the day, like I think the main thing was I never was really worried about me. I was just worried about Jaylen the whole time.
Mm.
Like that's all I really worried about. Like people had their opinions and everything, that they said on social media, and yeah, it sucked to see because they're almost like diminishing the person I am, and
Sure.
that's nowhere near who I am. And that was difficult because I don't like to be, talked about in that manner of ever being like a dirty player or anything like that.
Right.
But like in all, like the only thing I was worried about was really like Jaylen, was like
Mm.
making sure he was okay, making sure it wasn't bad and everything. But just to get back on the faith thing, like yeah, it just was a continuously like everyday type of thing of praying on it. And I was to myself a lot. I was we were on the road after that stretch because that was the very last home game. So we
Right.
were on the road. I was just kind of in my hotel room and just kind of being by myself and just kind of leaning on it, praying that it all works out and we get past it and everything. Jaylen was okay.
Absolutely. Well, I know it's kind of a difficult thing to transition off of, but we do have 15 before I let you go, man. And
Oh
one
yeah,
of those things is you have a coach, Charles Lee. He obviously was his first year last year. You've now spent a year with him, and I guess a little bit more than a year now. What is he like as a coach overall?
yeah. I mean, he's just a player's coach, man. He one of them coaches who's gonna suit it up and go out there and guard you. Like. And he's just great. Honestly, he's great. He's somebody who came from winning culture, winning with the Bucks and then winning with the Celtics. And
Right.
so coming over, he's trying to obviously change the culture. And being in Charlotte for a year, I can feel and sense like how bad this city wants to win. And I want to win just as bad as they do. Just not only for myself but for them, because there's just to see this constant support that they would come out to games for no matter what the record was, no matter who was playing. Like it meant a lot.
Hmm.
Coach Lee, yeah, he's just trying to instill that. I think people you've seen it like that Hornets DNA type of culture, and you see it with the people he's drafted. That he's trying to change things around and put the Hornets back in the map, and just um, bring winning here, bring a different side and different culture, and you can feel it. It was difficult this past year. Obviously, I can imagine being a first year coach and guys going down and
Yeah.
not knowing who's going to play, today and having to deal with a bunch of different roster changes and different starting lineups and things like that. So um, I know it was a lot, and I think and I hope that the players and everybody just gave him constant reassurance that like we trust him.
Right.
Great person, somebody who just wants the best out of everybody, and that makes you play a little bit harder for a coach like that who's going to challenge you and push you, but just for the betterment of not only the team but for yourself. And
Right.
so, like I said, he'll just go out there one day just to get you shooting better. He'll start talking trash and do a shooting competition with you. So, I mean, how could you not want to play for a coach like that who gives it their all? And I mean, my first impression of him was just simply when he first year coach, just going out there and coaching a couple of summer league games last year, just to
Right.
get acclimated with certain guys on the team and just get everyone comfortable with the system that he was bringing in. Like that, I feel like that spoke volumes because you don't see a lot of head coaches doing that. Or the couple of times that he would come out to G League games or Swarm games, like when they didn't play,
Hmm.
it kind of meant a lot. And so he's just somebody who you would love playing for, and I'm excited for this season. Definitely think it's going to head in a different direction under his leadership.
Well, let's head into this team now because obviously we're in the middle of the offseason right now. Lots of moves happened. Obviously, probably the biggest one, Mark's obviously been traded out now. So now you guys have a new center coming in. Mason Plumlee's returning. Just added in Spencer Dinwiddie, who I know you talked about earlier from Colorado. You guys have a little bit of ties there together. He's not on this team. Also, you guys have added in Colin Sexton. The rookies we talked about, Pat Connaughton's been traded. A lot of different shifts and stuff going on in this locker room right now. When you look at this, how excited does this new look roster seem to yourself?
Great, great, man. I mean, obviously, like I said, they're trying to change things around, and you can definitely see it in the moves that they're making.
Right.
And obviously, love the guys that I was able to share the court with this past year. They brought me in as a rookie, and took me under their wing, and um, just they made transitioning to the NBA a little bit easier for me. Coming in banged up already as it was, so it was just great. I built great relationships with the guys. But you definitely see the moves they're making, the people that they've drafted, like they're trying to change this thing around, and you can commend them for it. And I'm all in for it, man. I think my main thing is just I just want to like all my life, all the teams I've went to. I mean, you can see even AAU teams I went to or played for, high school teams I played for, or not high school team, Chaminade, playing for Chaminade, playing for
Right.
Colorado. Like it wasn't I don't want to say not successful, but like just places where you gotta make a name for yourself.
Right.
And I feel like what better franchise to do it for me personally than the Hornets, who a city in Charlotte who's like eager to just win, and
Mm.
a whole new coaching staff and training staff and just everybody like bought into changing everything around, and that's everything I've kind of been about, all my life. So
Right.
it's special, and I just really want to be a part of that because it's like, who doesn't? You know, that's
Hmm.
that's some memorable stuff. So, but yeah, it's just definitely exciting times. Um, Not just even with the Hornets, just to see the NBA, like everything that's happening today, like it's kind of crazy to see, but it gets you excited that the season's around the corner, man. It's gonna go by fast, I have no doubt, but I'm just
Yeah.
excited, man. I'm excited for sure.
You are obviously a very competitive guy, and when you see a depth chart, with a lot of guards now on the team, you talk about LaMelo, obviously he's out there. Now you add in Dinwiddie, Trey Mann's coming back. You obviously have yourself, and then you have Sexton coming in. Collins, obviously rookie. Nick Smith, obviously he's back. Zion, Josh Okogie, a lot of these guys. Now some of these guys obviously can run other positions too, but you see all the different guards on this roster. What goes through your mind?
First off, I just want to say shout out to Trey, man. Well deserved contract.
For sure.
Somebody who like like that's one of my main people, on the team. I'm really close with everybody on the team, but Trey, man, was somebody who immediately took me under their wing. Um, he just was right by my side. Like I learned from him. I could ask him any question I want, and to see him go down when he did with the season that he was going to have, because he was I had him for um, six man of the year already, most improved, all those awards. Like I knew for a fact he was going for it, and I'm just happy that he got the contract that is back in Charlotte because he's a great person and I know he deserves it. But yeah, I mean, like you said, obviously it just speaks competition, and me being a competitive person. Like I'm just at the end of the day, I'm just gonna go out there and show, what I'm about and who I am and the values and things that I bring. Obviously the
Right.
NBA is the NBA, but I'm not gonna. The main thing is the main thing, and I'm just gonna go out there and hoop, man. That's just me. I'm gonna go out there and do what I need to do to help the team win. And I think especially with this next year coming up, like having the year of experience that I have under my belt, as a rookie, and all the ups and downs that I did go through, and even the great stretch that I was having. There was a stretch that I kind of want to talk about, that month of February, where
Yeah.
I was just hooping at a high level, and like I just in going through that, I know what I need to get better at my second year,
Mm,
and I just been in here in Charlotte, just grinding it out the whole time. Like
mm,
it hasn't been much of a vacation for me. I mean, I went back home after the season, spent time with family, but other than that, got back in Charlotte, and I've been here ever since. Like
mm.
just working out. I understand how important summer league is, and but just working out, man. That's just who I am, So at the end of the day, I feel like everything's gonna happen for a reason, and whatever happens, I'll be thankful for. But I'm just going in hooping. Like I'm a competitive person, and I'm just gonna give everybody my best. I'll run through a brick wall for anybody. I told Charlotte that when I got drafted, and I mean that. So I'm gonna just continue to keep proving myself.
You've given bits and pieces of what people can kind of expect from you next season, but I just want to formally ask this question now. And it's probably one of the last questions before I let you go. And that is you look at your second season in the NBA.
Mhm.
What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to get done? Your goals, team wise, personally wise, everything. What's the dream, best, ultimate goal for yourself for your sophomore year?
Yeah, I definitely I'll speak team wise first because I think that's just very important. Like I definitely want to make the playoffs. Like
Yeah.
just that was it was kind of weird like not playing and seeing the playoffs happening. And obviously growing up I've watched NBA all my life, but like now being in the NBA and now watching the playoffs is a completely different feeling than watching it when I was growing up because it's like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like the level of high play that's happening from certain teams, like the run that the Pacers was on, like watching the way they execute and things like that, how together they were, and like it just made me want to get there so bad. And even the conversations I had with when Josh Green when he first got here, and
Yeah.
I was stoked about like meeting him because our backgrounds we go for all the way back to Ryan Silver and West
West
Coast.
Coast Elite. Yep.
So yeah, it was just getting a chance to meet him, and that's like my big bro. I mean, when I was had shorter hair, people kept confusing me. I was at Walmart, someone was like, "Josh Green, can I take a photo?" It's crazy, but
Did you tell him who it wasn't at that point?
nah, man, I didn't want to hurt his soul. Just make him embarrassed. I took the photo and I just took it on the chin, man. You know what I'm saying? But um, now to get back on it, like I definitely just want to make the playoffs because Josh was telling me like coming from Dallas the year before and being in the finals, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, man, I want to get there and seeing it, this off season definitely want to get there. So I know that's on the top of everybody's list, right now as a team, and just definitely win more games. Just um, nobody likes to lose. I'm a
Right.
sore loser. I don't care. Um, you can, and there's not really an excuses. Obviously, we did get guys that were injured. I
Yep.
mean, it's really unfortunate, you know, because the guys that got injured were like key guys and people who were on pace to have a really good year. But it is what it is. Things happen, and it's not going to be an excuse for us. And I think you can kind of feel the energy shift this year, even in just the workouts that we've been having. And so that's the main thing, definitely winning and making it to the playoffs. But I know me individually, I have a couple things like definitely just want to. I'm someone who likes to improve like each year in every aspect of my game. I feel like I can get better at everything. But definitely, I say the first thing is definitely just shot making and being more efficient, consistent. I mean, you look at my years at Colorado, like people you look at it and then you see my last year and it's like how efficient I was. I mean, there was a stretch where I was 50, 40, 90,
Yep.
and that wasn't on accident, and it just was by work and no excuses. I came in banged up and it was a slower start, and but at the end of the day, like I know this next season I'm gonna definitely be better in that aspect. I've been working on that all year, or all summer, I should say, and I know I need to get better in that aspect. And so definitely being, more reliable scorer or shooter, I would say, just being more consistent. Making sure that that field goal percentage is where it needs to be. Especially that's one less thing. Somebody needs to be knocking me off of when already talking about my height.
Right.
So definitely that's one of the main things. But I would also say just being more of a pest defensively. Like watching a lot of film, and how ironic they made it all the way to the finals, but TJ McConnell, like the disruptor he is at
Mhm.
his height, and even playing against him and seeing how he changes the game. Like it's not all about being a scorer. Like he's somebody who knows his role, and
Right.
he's somebody who's excelled in his role to the point where if the Pacers would have won, you could talk about him being Finals MVP just because of the impact he had.
Yep.
So there's no doubt in my mind I can be that type of person. Just be a disruptor on defense, like absolute pest, and that's something that I think people are going to see in summer league, and people are going to see this next up and coming year. But I'm just somebody who I just put my hard hat on, my work hat, and just go to work and just get better in everything, man. But definitely those two things. I will say just being also a better, I don't want to say reader, but like a decision maker, I guess,
Sure.
because coming in rookie year, it was fast, but that doesn't mean that I have to use my speed at 100 miles an hour. So find a way to change pace and just read the game a lot better, and definitely felt like I've been doing that and taking strides in that. So I'm excited, man. I'm just excited to go out there and show and prove what I've been working on this off season.
Absolutely. Okay, Jeff, one final question for you. It's a question like wrapping up every interview with, and that's talking about your legacy. When the day does come, you step away from basketball, obviously, it's going to be a long, long future down the road. But when the day does come, what do you want the legacy of KJ Simpson to be?
Yeah, I mean, I just I'm somebody who's very very high on myself, and um, I just want to be like one of the best that I could have been, you know. And that's everybody can have their opinion. Like one of the best, like you're not gonna be better than this person or whatever. But I don't really look at it like that. Like I feel like I'm the only person who knows my potential and
Hmm.
what I can be, and so I'm just gonna go out there and continue to prove myself. And that's another legacy I want to have is just somebody that a lot of people can respect.
Right.
Everyone can have their opinion, but respect the way I approach basketball. Like the person I am, I'm not someone who complains. Whatever situation I'm dealt with, or any situation or obstacle I have, I don't complain. I go through it and I come out better for it, and I just continue to prove myself. And I think I want my legacy to be, you know, everyone had their opinion on me, and whatever saying they had on me, or whatever knocks they had on me, but I went out there and I proved to everybody like that wasn't the case. And I think that's just the main thing, honestly. Like all my life, I just been told what I can't do or what I can't be because of this, or what I need to always get better at. And then it's crazy because when I get better in that same thing you told me I wasn't good at, then all of a sudden it's this thing that's a problem, you know? So
Right.
it's, everyone's gonna have opinions, and I just want my legacy to be like I went up there and I went and faced them all, and I proved to them like no, like KJ Simpson belongs. Like
Hmm.
you gotta stop writing KJ Simpson off, and he's somebody who should be well respected for that. Obviously, I know I got long ways to go, but that's just my mentality, and I'm gonna just that's the way I play. And if you can't see it when I'm playing, then I'm gonna just make sure you do. So that's my legacy, man. I just want to go out there and keep proving people wrong, bro.
I love that. Well, KJ, I appreciate you so much for taking time to come on in, man. It's been a blessing and honor having you on here. I cannot wait to see what God's got in store for you in the summer league and year 2 in the NBA, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. I thank you for having me. This is long overdue. Like,
Yep.
yeah, man, we go way back when we was on Instagram Live, man.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been good, man. I've been glad. You've been doing well, and I just thank you again for having me. I appreciate you, taking the time and allowing me to be on here, man.
Of course, you're always welcome on, man. God bless.
God bless, man. Thank you,
Yes, sir. See you soon, man.
sir.